Hello everybody, my name is Huts, and you're watching my video where I redesigned Vaggie from Hazbin Hotel. This is my third video in the Redesigning Hazbin Hotel series. In the first one, I redesigned Alistair, and in the second one, I redesigned Angel Dust. This video isn't going to be too different from the other videos, so you don't need to watch them to understand what's happening here. But I do encourage you to check out the playlist after watching this one, if you liked it. Before we get started, I do want to put out a disclaimer that this video does contain images of moths. So this is Vaggie. Out of all the main characters in Hazbin Hotel, Vaggie is the one with the least amount of information on her. Unlike Alistair and Angel Dust, we don't know what caused Vaggie's death. All we know is that she died in 2014 and was somewhere in her 20s when she died, and that she's bilingual and is heavily implied to be Latinx. Let's talk about Vaggie's previous iterations. From what I've seen, Vaggie has gone through the most design passes, most of which I'm neutral towards. Some of these were designed when Vaggie was originally supposed to have died in 1980s, though they don't really portray 1980s very well. Another thing she doesn't portray in these designs, or her current design, is that she's a moth demon. When I mentioned this in my Discord server, a lot of people were very surprised to find out she's supposed to be a moth. To be fair to Viv, after doing my designs for Vaggie, I found out it's incredibly hard to design a character that looks like a moth but also humanoid and is pleasing, so I'm not going to fault her on that, since I couldn't really capture moth that well either. Vaggie is clearly based on goth/emo culture, hence the dark colors in the original passes of her design, but that doesn't really show well in her current design. Her current colors felt too bright and pastel. To be fair, pastel goth is a thing, and that's what I use to reference Vaggie in my designs, since that's what I think she's supposed to be. Just like with Angel Dust, I wanted to find a moth that I could base Vaggie's design on, and when doing moth research, I discovered this moth, whose name I'm going to absolutely butcher. This moth is Clifton Nonpareil. This moth stuck out to me for a few reasons. The first is the wing shape. It already closely mimics Vaggie's hairstyle, which was perfect because I already really enjoy Vaggie's hair as it is and I didn't want to change it. And the second reason is because of the lower wings. They're black with a blue stripe, and I don't know about you guys, but that screamed perfect dress idea to me. As always, before we begin, I'd like to say that I'm drawing her in my art style, which is drastically different from Vivian's art style, so please keep that in mind as we go forward. Without further ado, let's get started! Starting out the sketching process, I knew some things I wanted to change immediately. The first being her body type. I mentioned this in the Alistair video, but all of the characters have the same body type, tall and skinny, which is bad for making a unique main cast, so I made her fatter. I'm going to be upfront right now and stating that I'm not very good at drawing overweight characters, and that's something I absolutely need to work on, but just because I'm bad at drawing it doesn't mean that I shouldn't. Get that free practice, yo! I changed her dress to a dress with an over-the-shoulder top. Kept it pretty much the same. I added a little bit of frill along the edge, kind of like how the moth's blue pattern has, The moth's blue pattern has a white trim along the bottom of the black and blue stripe, and I wanted to keep that in because I thought it looked good. Something I didn't change was her X eye patch. Because we don't know that much about Vaggie, I didn't want to change anything that I thought could be an important piece of her design, like a cause of death or something like that, so I kept it. I also don't have much of a problem with it either, so I saw no reason to change it. I changed her hair only slightly. I made it more triangular to mimic the moth's wings a little bit better, but everything stayed pretty much the same. Her silhouette, as far as hair goes, stayed pretty much the same. I changed her bow. I'm sorry. I understand that's probably supposed to mimic the antenna that moths have, but it doesn't really come through very well. So what I did instead was made it that weird, like, ribbon bow headband. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen it before, and so that's what I did. I feel like it gives a better illusion of antenna than a bow does. Just like the previous two videos, I found a 2014 color palette that I used to color Vaggie in certain cases, and I also made a pass with Vaggie's original color palette and patterns, and I made a pass with the Moth's color palette and patterns. This was the pass that I made with Vaggie's original color palette and patterns, just to get a sense of what I wanted to do and to warm up to coloring her and things like that. Nothing really unique to say here, it's just the same Vaggie that we're used to. Vaggie's design is actually probably my favorite one out of anyone in the main cast of Hazbin Hotel. She's very nice to look at, and she's all not one red color. She's very pleasing. I had a very hard time actually choosing colors for her because I do already like her base colors so much. This color pass was based solely off of the moth. Kind of like how I did it with Angel Dust, I took the colors and the patterns from the moth and I applied it to my design. One thing I absolutely did not want to do with any Vaggie design was lighten her skin tone. I didn't want to accidentally whitewash her or anything like that, so I kept her pretty much all the same darker gray tone. I didn't want to risk, whitewashing her. Side note, this blue color is absolutely gorgeous. I am biased though. This pass I based mostly off of the pastel goth reference that I had and the colors that she was wearing, because I thought that they would look nice on Vaggie and I wanted to see what they looked like. This one is actually one of my Discord's favorite passes, so that's something to keep in mind. I had a friend in a Discord call with me, and I let her choose some colors that we could use in the design. So I pulled up a color palette list and I selected the colors that she thought would look good, and we applied them to the design. At this point, it was clear that the blue skin we had chosen wasn't working with the design at all, so instead I slid the slider over to just pure gray instead of blue tinted. Yet again, we took a look at the list to see what colors would be fun to work with. I wanted to work more with tans and blues this time than greens and pinks, so we chose a couple of pretty good tans and blues and things to work with. This design reminds me of blueberry muffins. I don't know why, but it's something that I felt I should share with you guys. And with that, these are the finished designs. Which one did you like the least? Which did you like the best? What could I have done better? Please let me know down in the comments below. I asked my Discord server, and it was pretty much a tie between the pastel purple one and the yellow and blue one, and I'm going to have to agree with them on that. The next one in the Redesigning Hazbin Hotel series is going to be Charlie, so keep an eye out for that. The best way to know when I upload is by subscribing and hitting the bell, so that I show up in your activity feed when I post. Until I upload, keep tabs on what's going on with me and the other art I do. I have Tumblr, DeviantArt, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm most active on my Tumblr. I also have a Discord server where I post whips and we play games and things like that, so feel free to join if you like. If you have any ideas of something I could redesign that's not Hazbin Hotel, feel free to tell me down below. Thank you all for watching. Bye!